Right, a tabletop exercise. I mentioned it before, very quick ones. These are sort of 5-6 minutes. The idea is that you talk at your tables and discuss. And I will ask for some input from just a few tables. If I ask all 25 tables, we will be here the rest of the week, and that's not the idea. So I'd like you to spend the next 5 minutes to talk about some of the needs of our customers at the Bank of Muscat before we get on to the first strategy. Okay? Do that, and I'm going to come ask a couple of inputs. Thank you. Okay, looks like we're all set. Good. These are good, quick tabletops. The one or two of them will be a little bit longer, but this one I think will suffice for a couple of minutes. I'd like to start off with this table here, a spokesperson. What have you got as far as the needs of a Bank Muscat customer?
Okay,
nice and loud.
They need fast and quick service, hospitality. They come for the products. Sometimes they need advice, consultants.
Louder.
Advice and consultants.
Perfect.
To fulfill the promise, if you promise the customer something also.
What was that? The second one?
Fulfill the promise.
Fulfill the promise,
yeah.
Exactly.
That's what we wrote so far.
Okay, a couple of points I'll pick up on about the promise. Broken promises are one reason that customer service isn't better in lots of places, including here. I have a radio show, 90.4, and we talk about customer service about 60% of the time. And the reason is that we have the most fantastic potential here to give great superlative customer service because of the natural friendliness, the smile, the kindness. But sometimes we forget the small details. Same in UAE. We need to remember that we promise something from a customer, get back to them. I used to say to my reps, if you can't deliver something somebody wants, don't ignore them, don't go hiding, tell them why you can't do it, and that we're going to find out the answer for them. And then the customer's faith in you and the company is restored. And people understand these things. So good points you have. Next table, please. Where's the mic? Next table. Table number 2. Thanks. Nice and loud so they can all hear.
Okay, the customer has unique requirement from us to provide his own tailored services which he requires. The other thing is professional dealing as advisory, what I say, my friend there. Effective service. The other thing could be qualitative service.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Right. Often what you think the customer needs is not, in fact, the answer. You have to listen. Good salespeople, good customer service people listen more than they speak. I used to say you don't get any information without listening. So listen carefully, listen intently, listen actively to your customer, and find out what it is they need. Now, if you're still not sure, you can ask open questions. Open questions start with what? What words do they start with? Who, what, where, when, why, which, and how, I think. I think I got 6 there. If you ask questions, starting with that word, you'll get information. But remember, listen intently to what it is the customer wants. It isn't always what we think they want. Next table. Thank you, table 2.
Yeah.
We go to table number 5. Okay.
We have to have a trust between the customers and bank. Bank, customer, they trust us. We have to trust them.
Closer mic.
Okay. Trust. I'm talking about trust.
Trust, yep.
Yes, customer, they trust the bank. Bank have to trust customers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to know our customers. Customer, they like to be recognized. We have to call customer by names, and they feel better. Other points, I think, they cover all our points.
Okay.
And privacy.
Privacy in what regard?
Customer, they don't want to discuss in front of all other customers. They want to be privacy space to talk what they need.
Yep. Often, sometimes,
Yeah.
the customer has special needs that they don't want to voice with other customers around.
Yes.
They want a private space for that.
Yeah.
The other thing you said was about trust, and broken trust can be, you can regain a customer, but it takes a lot more effort. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 more good things you do, or positive things you do, or exceed your customers 4 or 5 more times in order to get back to the point you're at. Because trust brings down the level of relationship between you and the customer.
Yeah.
The other point you made was about names. The sweetest sound to everybody's ears is our names. And I used to have a sales manager in Australia. He had a wonderful way with names. He didn't always remember everything about about their problems and about their special needs, but he remembered their names, and that was a pretty good start, I thought. He had a great memory for that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we had a 4th table, I think, we chose. Where's that? Yes. Thank you.
Jet more product, Yanjar one roof.
Nice and clear. Close to the mic.
Jet more product, Yanjar one roof.
More projects under one roof.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, yes, that's probably a product and service need, I think, you're talking about. But yeah, indeed. Often today, it's a one-stop shop. That people want to go to a branch and be able to do everything at that branch. I heard that in the earlier talks today. Anybody else would like to give a few? Last group. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Here, they will need a friendly staff.
Yeah.
Friendly with good knowledge, with good product knowledge.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, and also they need respect.
This word comes up often and often.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pick up on one thing about product knowledge. When I was with Qantas Airways in London, and I date myself, 1970, my first big job, although I had a few small jobs before that, I was on a junior management scheme. And my job was to go around all the different departments of Qantas in London, airport, cargo, you name it. And first 3 months, I have to say, were rather boring because they were a time to absorb information and to listen and to write airline tickets and learn the 3-letter codes. Nothing really fantastic. It wasn't, I always thought airlines going on trips and expense accounts and lots of fun. Well, it was over the 35 years, but also some hard work involved. And I was being coached by a guy named Dave. We'll call him Dave. I think his name was Dave. And one day I said to him, Dave, what do I need to do to be successful in my career? And so he looked out the window, Piccadilly Circus, I think it was. He looked out the window, and he looked back at me, and he said, there are 3 things I want you to learn in order to be successful. Of course, I got my pen and paper ready. I was very excited. I said, what's the first thing? He said, time management. At 18, 19, time management isn't too exciting, but he made a point which I've now learned is correct. You never have enough time. Time will go very, very quickly. And it's important to have a life-work balance. In other words, you have time for your work, and it's great. Work hard. But also you have time for your family. And so be able to work and organize your time. I said, what's the second point? He said, the second point is product knowledge. And I said, explain. He said, get to know everything you can about the airline business, not just selling, which I was hired to do, but about these other areas that you're being exposed to. Get to know everything you can about this business. And he said, get to know the competitors, because how can you sell to a customer unless you know what the competitors are doing? So the market intelligence was very important. And I have to say, years later now, he was correct on that one. I said, I've got 2, Dave. What's the third? He said, communication skills. You'll never be able to communicate enough. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Get your interpersonal skills right, because your customers are varied. They come from many different backgrounds, different cultures, and you're going to have to be able to mix with all kinds of groups of people. And boy, was he right, because we've lived in 8 countries and lived in some fantastic cultures, and in this region for 14 years, by the way, and Muscat for 4 years. But the point I'm making is that he was absolutely right about communication. Thank you, everybody. I wish I could have more time, but we have 3 more tabletops to get through, as well as some strategies.